The following 19-point presentation is a question and answers formula that serve as an introduction to Noone Nature-Science and also serve as a recap and memory drill for those already familiar with the books Moonset and Sunrise in the Nature of Nature and Introduction to the Nature of Nature, Parts 1, 2, and 3. All written by the Ethiopian nature scientist and philosopher known as Afroo Oonoo. Question: who or what is the Supreme Being? Point 1. Listen to reason. The Supreme Being is all space, all matter, and all time, all persons, all places, and all things, past, present, and future, infinite in all directions, called infinite, almighty, eternal, absolute nature, or infinite space, almighty matter, and eternal time, which is indeed absolute nature. According to universe annals and nature scientists, the natural cycles and laws of nature consists of 4 stages of ethereal philosophy when dealing with the nature science of absolute nature. See diagram 2. These are Noone of the pygmy gods and goddesses, Noone of the Tar, Ethiopian, and Pichnova peoples, Pantheism, also known as polytheism, of the Phoenician, Indian, and Mongolian peoples, and monotheism, also known as religion, of the Caucasian peoples. At this present juncture within space-time, the nature science of Noone is the resurrectionist philosophy for all persons living at this time, but in particular the Tarkainoid, who are the current Ethiopian and Pichnova peoples, also known as African or Nubian peoples. Noone Nature Science, therefore, deals with the origins and endings, including the laws, natures, and purposes of all persons, all places, and all things, past, present, and future, covering all space, all matter, and all time, also known as SMAT, S-M-A-T. This is the Supreme Being. The law of X is the nature of X, is the purpose of X. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Question: what is space, matter, and time? Point 2. Listen to reason. According to the annals of universe and nature science, space is defined as the vacuum of infinite consciousness within which matter exists, whereas matter is defined as everything and anything that occupies space, including energy, brain newts, mind, and reason. And time is defined as the eternal keeper of space and matter. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 3. Listen to reason. Space is masculine in principle and in polarity, in contrast to matter, which is feminine in principle and in polarity. The vacuum of infinite space is, by nature, perfect in the sense that space is the unmovable mover, because space has never been moved, can never be moved, nor can ever be moved even if it wanted to move or be moved. Thus, space is constant and perfect in positivity and within its nature. Almighty matter is, by nature, imperfect in the sense that matter is movable, changeable, alternatable, and alterable, because matter is anything and everything that occupies space, including energy, brain newts, mind, and reason. And matter moves, changes, alternates, and alterates within nature. Thus, matter is imperfect within space, yet is perfect in negativity and within its own nature. Eternal time is the keeper of infinite space and almighty matter. Space and matter needs time in order to exist. The three are inseparable and are known as the triad of space, matter, and time, otherwise known as SMAT. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 4. Listen to reason. Absolute nature is the triad of infinite space, almighty matter, and eternal time. Infinite, almighty, eternal nature occurs in cycles of 720 degrees over a 72 million year period. Thus, each degree lasts 100,000 years. Absolute nature makes changes 1 degree at a time for better or worse standards, according to the natural conditions of where we are on the existence circle of SMAT. Thus, there are two main modalities. Nupu, which is ascending reason, followed by waning, and Zupu, which is descending reason, followed by waxing. There are 360 degrees in the upper half of the existence circle, called a Nup, where absolute nature is in its primary creation cycles known as origination and dorigination, where physical gods and goddesses, and indeed plant life, exists on Earth. See diagram 1. Likewise, there are 360 degrees in the lower half of the existence circle, called a Zup, where absolute nature is in its secondary creation cycles, known as evolution and revolution, where man and mankind, and indeed the animal world, exist. The law of X is the nature of X, is the purpose of X. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Question: what is the Creator, God, and mind? Point 5. Listen to reason. The Creator within absolute nature is the workings of brain newts, reason, and spirit beings. The region of their workings are in between the realms of space and matter, with the keeper known as time. This region is like a bridge that synergizes these two great opposing existences. Here, both the magical and magnetic, as well as positive and negative forces of space and matter, work together as brain newts melting down into matter to produce brains. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 6. Listen to reason. Spirit beings in nature are the gods and goddesses in absolute nature. In other words, there is no creator of nature. Instead, nature is self-grown, and nature produces gods and goddesses by reason and brain concentration. These gods and goddesses are thus the helpers within nature by reason. They are the organizers, programmers, and controllers of persons, places, and things by the laws of nature and by way of the nature of the cycles and seasons. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 7. Listen to reason. The active ingredient in matter is energy, and the magical and magnetic components in matter are called brain newts in Noone Science. Thus, brain newts is the prime mover in matter, and matter is the prime mover in nature. When brain newts melt down into matter during the upper cycles of Nupu, or primary creation, the creator being is called nous, scientifically. See diagram 1. And similarly, when brain nous melt down into matter during the lower cycles of Zupu, or secondary creation, the creator being is called Zeus, scientifically. Nous is 9 ether in mind, or ascending reason, in qualities, standards, and abilities toward perfection in scientific life, whereas Zeus is 6 ether in mind, or descending reason, in qualities, standards, and abilities toward scientific death. Mind is spirit thought power, whereas reason is mental creative power. To put another way, created and yet limited spirit beings interact with the world of persons and things through mind and spirit thought power, whereas infinite consciousness interact with the world of persons and things through reason and mental creative power. The law of X is the nature of X, is the purpose of X. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Question: what are brain nous, reason, and spirit beings? Point 8. Listen to reason. Brain nous are magical and magnetic components within matter that, when melted down, in other words, magically transform into matter, forms brains. In other words, brain nous are the first and prime mover in matter. Every living organism within nature has a central brain, from the central sun of our universe to the central suns of galaxies and solar systems, and indeed the central suns of life-bearing planets. Even satellites, moons, have central suns. All of these central suns are called central brains in Noone Science. When active brain nous engage in the creation, which is the growing of universes and their celestial bodies, they melt down magically into the forming of all kinds and qualities of matter. Then, magnetically, the said brain nous, with the help of spirit beings called brain nous gods and goddesses, and by reason, attracts the best qualities of matter, then organizes, programs, and controls the growing of these central brains, or suns. Brain nous are thus the smallest particles of matter, which cannot be seen by any microscope whatsoever. Brain nous are neither microscopic nor macroscopic. So how do we know they exist? We sense and experience them when we taste, touch, smell, hear, and see persons, places, and things within absolute nature. In other words, all things that exist and occupy space and in whatever quality, degree, or standard are a result of brain nous meltdown as co-creators or co-growers with brain nous gods and goddesses and by reason. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 9. Listen to reason. Noone Science is the science of mind, reason, and sound right reason through brain concentration and direct interaction with brain nous gods and goddesses by Ethiopian and Pitch Nova peoples of Earth at this time. Sound right reason, therefore, is the mental process of figuring things out. Thus, Noone Science is the proper resurrectionist philosophy for Tar, Ethiopian, and Pitch Nova peoples, who are the descendants of the physical pygmy gods and goddesses, and are the physical representation of the original alpha brain nous gods and goddesses on Earth. Noone and Noone, as parts of nature science, is a science of non-ether consciousness called Nupu, or Nous in Greek philosophy, a nine mind or ascending reason. Nine mind is, by nature, the nine reason power that drives Pygmy, Tar, Ethiopian, and Pitch Nova peoples toward perfection in spiritual potency, mental capacity, and physical features. The opposite of Noone and Noone is pantheism and religion, respectively. Pantheism and religion, as parts of nature science, is the science of six ether consciousness called Zupu, or Zeus in Greek philosophy, and six mind, or descending reason. Six mind is, by nature, the sixth reason power that drives Phoenician, Indian, Mongolian, and Caucasian peoples towards declination in spiritual potency, mental capacity, and physical features. Indeed, reason is ray and sun in conjunction, as in the rays of the suns in nature. By reason, all things are grown into existence, not created out of nothing. In accordance with the laws of nature, the cycle in season and the best quality of matter, whether it's 9-ether or 6-ether, available by nature at the observed point in time. Mind and reason is thus produced by emanated brain energy or emanated sun energy, i.e., ray of the sun, reason. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 10. Listen to reason. When brain newts melt down into matter, they form brains. Thus, brains are the physical manifestation of brain newts. The central sun of all universe orbs is the central brain of absolute nature, also known as the alpha sun or alpha brain. When the alpha brain ignites and lights up like a bulb, it produces two main kinds of energy known as mind and reason. Through intense brain concentration of the alpha brain, mind and reason creates spirit beings. The original spirit beings are known as the original 9 pairs of brain newts, gods and goddesses in absolute nature. The better the standard, quality and ability of matter used in the forming of brains is the better the standards, qualities and abilities of the spirit beings created. In this context, and specifically when dealing with the sphere of the alpha sun of all universe orbs, reason occurs by nature in two opposing and alternating mental faculties. That is Nupu, or Nous in Greek philosophy, which is the world soul of Pygmy, Tar, Ethiopian and Pitch Nova peoples, and Zupu, or Zeus in Greek philosophy, which is the world soul of Phoenician, Indian, Mongolian and Caucasian peoples. Furthermore, all universe orbs produce spirit beings through brain concentration, just as how the alpha brain produced brain newts, gods and goddesses. For example, suns, or true stars, produces spirit beings known as sun gods and goddesses. Planets, such as orb Earth, produces spirit beings known as earth gods and goddesses. And likewise, the moon produces spirit beings known as moon gods and goddesses. All these entities are in one way or another organizers, programmers and controllers for better or worse conditions and standards of persons, places and things, in accordance with the laws of nature and the cycle in season. The law of X is the nature of X, is the purpose of X. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Question: what is 9 ether, 6 ether, and 3 ether by nature? Point 11. Listen to reason. Within absolute nature exists many kinds of very powerful entities, from brain newts or source gods and goddesses, the sun or true star gods and goddesses, to earth or planetary gods and goddesses, to moon or satellite gods and goddesses, to underworld or ghost station gods and goddesses. As stated, and to reiterate for memory drill, these entities are the organizers, programmers, and controllers of persons, places, and things at the time of which said entities exist. And these spirit beings, along with brain newts and reason, operate the same way each time that the conditions are the same. According to Noone Science, there are two major creative cycles: primary, or origination with ascending reason, and secondary, or evolution with descending reason. But there is also a minor creative cycle called tertiary, or ghost station reason. 9 ether is conscious and conscientious creative gases within nature, produced by 9 reason, and brain newts meltdown into 9 ether in space, 9 ether in matter, and 9 ether in time. Thus, 9 ether spirit beings exist during primary creation, which is the upper half of the existence circle. And these nature spirits are the collective world soul of Nupu, or Nous. 6 ether is conscious and entropic destructive gases within nature, produced by 6 reason, and brain newts meltdown into 6 ether in space, 6 ether in matter, and 6 ether in time. Thus, 6 ether spirit beings exist during secondary creation, which is the lower half of the existence circle. And these nature spirits are the collective world soul of Zupu, or Zeus. Then at the last stage of evolutionary creation, that is to say, the last 6,000 years, nature produces 3 ether, which is semi-conscious and Leviathan ghost station gases within nature, produced by 3 reason, and brain newts melt down into 3 ether in space, 3 ether in matter, and 3 ether in time. Thus, 3 ether spirit beings exist during tertiary creation, and these nature spirits are the collective world soul of ghosthood and are known as God, which is a short form for ghosthood, and Jesus, a scapegoat gas spirit entity produced by ghost, in the ethereal philosophy of religion. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 12. Listen to reason. Nupu and Zupu, or Nous and Zeus, are opposite world souls by nature. These forces exist in the same space, but not at the same time. Noone, and indeed Noone, in nature science, is the science of sound right reason and 9 ether consciousness. Noone is the science of origination, called Nupu, Nous, and 9 mind. And Nupu, which is the 9 ether world soul, is the original and prime mover in nature. Therefore, pantheism in nature science is a science of 6 ether consciousness called Zupu, Zeus, and 6 mind. 6 mind is, by nature, the sex power that drives mankindoid peoples toward decline in spiritual potency, mental capacity, and physical features. Pantheism, and indeed monotheism, religion, therefore, deals with the control of persons, places, and things, past, present, and future, through deceptive intelligence, necromancy, and sex spirit forces. In contrast, Nupu is the power of creative mind and reason, symbolized by the number 9. Whereas Zupu is the power of sex and sense perception, symbolized by the number 6. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 13. Listen to reason. Nous is the highest form of mental thought known as reason, as opposed to sense perception. Nous is that which is responsible for origination in creation through brain newts meltdown into matter. It is the mind power of 9 ether brain newts gods and goddesses as they assist and promote inactive brain newts to melt down into matter into the forming of brains. The origination brain is the central sun or alpha sun of the multiverse in cosmological order, from which millions of galaxies and billions of suns, also known as true stars, along with their life-bearing planets and satellites, are produced. The law of X is the nature of X, is the purpose of X. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Question: who are the Tarkinoid, Mankinoid, and Mongoloid races? Point 14. Listen to reason. The latter 3 categories constitute the 3 main classes, scientifically speaking, of flesh and blood beings on planet Earth at this time. The Pygmy and their descendants, the Tar, Ethiopian, and Pichnova peoples, are classified as the Tarkinoid races. Then there are the Phoenician, Indian, Mongolian, and Caucasian peoples, who are classified as the Mankinoid races. The Mongoloid races are those mixtures of the latter 2, also called the Mingalese races. The Tarkinoid is also called the space race, or sun people, as they were bred from the original pygmy gods and goddesses, whereas the Mankinoid is called the matter race, or earth people, and the Mongoloid the time race, or moon people. The Tarkinoid and Mankinoid are opposites in nature and by nature, and the countless numbers of Mongoloid Mingalese are a result of the interbreeding and mixing of the 2 opposites, and there are many species by nature. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 15. Listen to reason. By nature, there are 9 original species of pygmy gods and goddesses that are born by 9 ether egg formulas from the bowels of Mother Earth as impregnations by the rays of Father Sun. See diagram 4. They manifested at Lake Victoria by the source of the Nile Valley waters in equatorial Africa. By reason and brain concentration of the sun, and by the helping 9 ether spirit beings and the laws of nature, after the initial growth and development of the universe, it took 999 years to produce the first physical beings. In other words, the first physical pygmy gods and goddesses. 72 beings are produced by nature, 36 males and 36 females, and thereafter every 999 years for 2 million years, during the 18 million year origination cycle. That is approximately 144,000 beings, or 144,144 to be exact, every 2 million years. Approximately 1,297,296 beings are produced over the 18 million year origination period. Then, during the 18 million year dorigination cycle, these 9 species of pygmy gods transformed, as if by magic, and becomes the Tar peoples. Then, at the junction of the 18 million year evolution cycle, the Tar peoples began to die out and become extinct, but not before sexually reproducing themselves as the 9 original species of Ethiopian peoples. Hence, the Ethiopian race is classified as Tarkinoid. During the next 18 million year revolution cycle, the Ethiopians are physically, mentally, spiritually, and economically resurrected by Nupu and are liberated, balanced, and transformed by Noone science application of sound-right reason, mind, and reason, and are classified as Pitchnova peoples, meaning new black star. See the correlation chart at the end of this presentation. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 16. Listen to reason. By nature, there are 4 main species of mankindoid races that are grown by 6 ether egg formulas from the bowels of the earth. See diagram 4. The first 3 manifested at the Indonesia waters in equatorial Bali. The Phoenician race were produced 2 million years into the evolution cycle. The Indian race were produced 6 million years into the evolution cycle. The Mongolian race were produced 12 million years into the evolution cycle. And finally, the Caucasian race was produced 6,000 years before the end of the 18 million year evolution cycle. As the original pygmy gods transformed into the Tar peoples and then became extinct, the Tar peoples, metamorphed into Mother Earth as egg formulas and were then reborn, so to speak, as the ape primates or ape men, who became the peoples of the mankindoid races. Again, see correlation chart at the end of this presentation. The law of X is the nature of X, is the purpose of X. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Question: what are the cycles, seasons, and purposes of absolute nature? Point 17. Listen to reason. Absolute nature exists as a living and conscious entity that occurs within a phenomenon known as the existence circle of space, matter, and time, or SMET. One complete cycle of SMET lasts for 72 million years, according to Nature-Science, of which there are 4 smaller cycles or seasons of 18 million years each: origination, dorigination, evolution, and revolution. The SMET existence circle of universe order continues for 80 cycles. That is, 80 times 72 million years equals 5,760 million years of universe order, also called cosmos, after which the universe disintegrates into universe disorder, also called chaos, for an equal duration of 5,760 million years. Then regenerates and grows back into universe order yet again and again and again. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 18. Listen to reason. Starting at point 3 south, which is where planet Earth is at this time, going counterclockwise is the gestation cycle, which is 18 million years, also called revolution, on the subsequent cycles after the first cycle of gestation. Starting at point 6 east are the cycles of origination, which is 18 million years where the pygmy gods and goddesses and plant life exist. Starting at point 9 north are the cycles of dorigination, which is 18 million years, where nature undid what it did in origination. And starting from point 6 west are the cycles of evolution, 18 million years, where the mankindoid races and animal life exist. Then the revolution cycle is a process of nature undoing what it did during the evolution cycle. Revolution means reverse of evolution. In other words, just as Earth has its annual cycles of days, months, and years, absolute nature has its cycles in thousands, millions, and billions of years. Origination is the summer season, or ascending reason. Dorigination is the autumn season, or waning. Evolution is the winter season, or descending reason, and revolution is the spring season, or waxing. Refer back to diagrams 1, 2, and 3. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 19. Listen to reason. The law of X is the nature of X, is the purpose of X. The law, nature, and purpose of absolute nature is to balance the forces of origination and dorigination. That is, to balance the waning or decline of what nature did with ascending reason. And similarly, the law, nature, and purpose of absolute nature is to balance the forces of evolution and revolution. That is, to balance the waxing or recline of what nature did with descending reason. Infinite, almighty, eternal, absolute nature is a process of alternating, and indeed balancing the positive and negative forces of brain newts, reason, and spirit beings as they work within the vacuum of space with the elements and energies of matter and with the keeper of space matter, which is time, to bring about life in its many wonders. The law of absolute nature is the nature of absolute nature, is the purpose of absolute nature. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known.